Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we have a 20-piece stainless steel 2024 limited edition from Moser Cie. This is the Streamliner Flyback Chronograph Cortina watch. Dedicated to one of the big two of Singapore watch retail, this timepiece features Singapore's signature red, a tribute to Cortina, which along with Sincere, dominates the Singapore luxury watch retail space. Now, it is fundamentally a second-generation Streamliner Flyback Chronograph, so it has the upgraded Agengраф, now with a new decoration and 72 hours of power reserve, plus the ghosted clear lacquer logo on its Singaporean red dial. Throwing the watch on the wrist, you can see stainless steel. It's 42.3 millimeters wide, and then basically lug-to-lug. It's also 42.3 millimeters lug-to-lug. In profile, it is 14.4 millimeters thick, and while a large watch, it does wear easily on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. It's flat enough that it will fit underneath most cuffs because the slope of the case and the crystal is going to ensure that. You can see how far inboard of the edge of my wrist the lugs of the case actually are. And this is the rare integrated bracelet watch that wears maybe even a little bit smaller than its rated size. I'd say on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters, you're going to wear this well. My wrist, again, is 16. The bracelet's beautiful. It's obviously inspired by bracelets of the 70s like the Abel Sport Classic or the Omega Speed Sonic Chronograph Lobster Tail. But the nice thing about this watch is, even though the touchstone is clearly the 1970s, Moser had the good taste to borrow a number of references rather than just copy a watch wholesale. So it doesn't look like a Laureato, it doesn't look like a Royal Oak, it doesn't look like a Nautilus or a 222. The era is unmistakable, but the inspirations are only in passing. It's not literal. Taking a look at the bracelet, you can see it has an incredibly tight tolerance. There's no actual daylight visible between the links. And because the links are short in profile, it has a very supple feel. You can see the finishing is sophisticated with interior polish, exterior satin. We have this polished lip down the edge of the bezel that continues down the links. You can see that removable links are held by pins and sleeves, and this is probably done to avoid the risk of stranding a screw if you strip out a flathead. You will need a block and punch to size this at home if you wish to size it yourself. But I can advise you that with so many small profile removable links, you're going to find the perfect size. Taking a look at the clasp, you can see it's a double fold with twin trigger release, so you have to press both triggers for it to pop open. Taking a look in profile, you can see we've got the Moser crest or coat of arms there. You have to press both triggers to open this up so you have security. The crown is a screw down. The watch is 120 meters water resistant. And I should mention Moser talks a big game by saying you can use these chronograph pushers all the way down to the rated 120 meters of test depth without any risk to the watch. Now, it is a flyback chronograph, which means you can restart it and reset it without first stopping. Before I do that, I want to first show you that we have a central register, seconds hand, but then we also have a 60-minute hand that's centrally mounted, so it's sort of like an old Lemania chronograph in that regard. Now we'll take a look at the flyback action where you reset and it immediately restarts. That's great for timing objects moving at high speed and events that occur in rapid succession. So your race car comes around again, it starts the kilometer. Now you're going to look at the tachymetric scale, which hides really well on the edge of this watch. And when the race car finishes the kilometer, that is when you stop the chronograph. And at that point, say it's right there, you look at the number and you can see that race car was moving at 250 kilometers per hour. Now, the crystal is dramatically boxed and cambered, giving it a little bit of a plexi aesthetic. Moser watches almost always feature some sort of case flank evacuation, and so we have this overlapping lip between the bezel and the case back that defines the satin finished mid case. You can see how the pushers are carefully profiled to match the diminishing taper, and then we've got this satin finished mid case on both sides, a Moser branded crown, and this radial graining that's sort of created by a lapping machine. This is a very 70s style finish that you'll see on certain types of 1970s watches, late Mark series Speedmasters, for example, maybe the Oris Chronoris Star. Jumping back to the dial, you can see now we do have a little bit of luminescence, not a whole lot, but let's take a look. You can see we've got the Globalite ceramic-based lume on the hands, and then a racing dial. So this is sometimes seen on watches of the late 60s through 70s, and most famously on Omega Speedmasters, where you have this staggered track that makes it easier to read fractions of seconds with the chronograph, or individual seconds when you have running center seconds. But the key thing here is that they're staggered. So because they're not perfectly in line, it looks a little bit like the checkered flag that waves at the end of a race. We've also got a little candy cane index outboard of each 5-second or 5-minute graduation. And then we've got a nearly invisible lacquered Moser logo because they're very modest. They figure the design language is strong enough that they don't need to advertise. And their content is 90 to 95% Swiss made. So they don't put Swiss made on the dial because that is a 60% value standard. That would be a lower standard. They prefer to just sell to people who understand that they are using all Swiss parts, not 60%. Taking a quick look now, we have an applique polished 60 up at the top. The flyback action one more time. And then rolling around back, it's based on the Agengraph caliber. We have a fume fade, or a smoked fade, that is achieved with lacquer. So it starts at bright red and becomes almost black by the edge. You can also see there's a metallic brushed sunburst underneath, but there is a nickel anthracite coating on the movement itself, which has 2 barrels and now has a 72-hour power reserve in the 2nd generation Streamliner Flyback Chronograph. 55 joules, 3 hertz. Column wheel, which is up in the corner. It's almost like a hybrid of a column wheel and a cam, and you can see it has 2 levels, but it's a very crisp feeling action. It uses what's called the Agen clutch, which, although advertised as being as smooth as a vertical clutch, never struck me as such. I see that there is some pronounced jump or stagger, so for all practical purposes, it functions like a conventional lateral clutch, but it has another advantage of a lateral clutch, which is that it's kind of more beautiful to look at. Vertical clutch movements tend to be ugly. Jean-Marc Viderecht, who runs Agenor, which supplies this movement, they are based out of Geneva, and he's expressed that the movement meets the standard aesthetically and qualitatively to be assessed a Geneva seal. He simply doesn't submit it for certification. Just know that the quality is at that level. We have solarization, as you can see on the ratchet wheel, mirror polished screw heads. We have brushed satinated stainless steel chronograph components, and then the bridges, you can see, feature the nickel anthracite with the double crested Moser stripes. Hard to see with so few bridges, but it's there. You can also see the center bridge for the chronograph with the distinctive Batman cowl. That has a little nod and a wink at the center of the movement. And then we have a little gilded sink for the pivot of the barrel arbor here, and it looks like a golden chaton cup from the pocket watch era. Now, it's an automatic winder, but the movement has a rotor under the dial, so you do not see that rotor, giving you a big open case back, which makes it easier to appreciate this beautifully decorated 34.4 millimeter large diameter movement. And it is a good looking caliber. I should also mention, despite the unconventional column wheel, the column wheel feel is superb. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details of this 20-piece limited edition.